If you find yourself moving into one relationship and then it not working out and then moving into another relationship, either very soon after or taking some space from that relationship, let's just say months, maybe years, and then finding yourself in another relationship where there's similar issues that come up, it's a relationship pattern that you keep experiencing. The reason for this is that you are not doing your own personal work after a relationship ends or when you are in the relationship and learning the lessons that you need to learn from that relationship. You're just going to keep experiencing the same situation over and over again, albeit with a different partner. The sole purpose of a relationship, from my vantage point, is spiritual development. Relationships serve as the best and greatest catalyst for our own personal development and our own personal work. And the soul specifically is designed to expand and learn through relationships. In fact, in our entire environment, our soul is consistently looking for ways to expand, and it learns more specifically in our relationships and our interpersonal relationships. And when you view relationships in this way, your whole perspective will shift in terms of when you should leave a relationship. And so for me, it's really important to look inward before deciding when to leave a relationship and to look at self versus looking at the other person in deciding when to leave a relationship. Because again, we are not victims, we are the creators of our life. And when we look at ourselves as a victim, you're always going to move into relationships and be unsatisfied. My name is Farine, and I'm a masculine feminine energy teacher, and specifically I talk about relationships, relationship dynamics, and inner work. If you enjoy my work, please subscribe, leave a comment. I've also written a few books. I go deeper into these concepts in my books. The reason for relationships is to develop personal emotional mastery and to eventually meet with our other counterpart, let's say. So as the feminine, we want to meet with a masculine, and before we even are able to do that externally, we need to have that union within ourselves. So we need to have the union of the masculine and the feminine within ourselves for us to attract that on the outside. This is very important to keep in mind. You can't just go and attract a masculine energy man if you as a woman are not embodied in your feminine, and in being embodied in your feminine means you also have the masculine component within you. The masculine component in a woman is her inner strength, and that's it. It has nothing to do with leading a relationship, nagging a man, telling a man what to do, being controlling. Those are the imbalanced traits of a woman, and that is always going to get you destructive relationships. And you're always going to attract either very feminine, weak, passive men, or if you manipulate a man into being with you, so you use your body, you're inauthentic, you stroke his ego, and the man falls for it because he's not in a good place and he's not developed. And this is generally what happens with men, is they meet a woman that is very easy to get and she sleeps with him very soon, she strokes his ego, she helps him, she does all these things, and a man might not be developed in his masculinity at that time, might be going through a bad time, and he goes with it. He allows that to happen, and then eventually, of course, he finds out that this woman's very controlling, she's manipulative, and very even narcissistic, right? There's a lot of narcissistic tendencies in women, and what happens in our world is healthy men end up with these type of women, and it ends up changing them. And I deal with this quite a lot. I've experienced this myself in relationships with men, actually, in relationships with amazing, healthy, masculine men, where they're with these very toxic masculine women and they rush through it and then they try to make it work. And of course it doesn't work because there's a lot of discord in the relationship, because once the initial period wears off, a man can actually see, wow, this woman is unhealthy, she's very controlling, she's upset all the time. And when that relationship eventually dissolves, a man has not done therapy, because men have this stigma around therapy, and they meet a good woman, they meet a feminine woman, and they take a lot of the pain that they went through with the first woman out on the new woman. And usually it's because they're not able to authentically express themselves with the unhealthy woman, because the woman is always manipulative. There's consequences if there's kids involved. And so they take it out on the new woman. This is what happens. And so it's really important, before you leave a relationship, or when you are leaving a relationship as a man or a woman, to look at your role in the relationship and to look at, what could I have done differently here, and how did I even fall for a person that their characteristics are so unlike what I would want or who I am. Because of course, if we are attracting a person and we are in a long relationship with them, we are going to possess very similar tendencies that they have. It's really important to look at oneself before leaving a relationship. When I say look at oneself, looking at our role, self-inquiring, and asking ourselves questions to gather if we've been the best version of ourselves in this dynamic. You really want to do this, because if you don't do this and you just leave the relationship, as I said, and you don't learn the lessons in the relationship, you are going to just move into another relationship and the same thing is going to happen. So rather than victimizing yourself, look within yourself to catch what could have been done differently within yourself, so that when you move into another relationship, the same mistakes don't happen. You want to look at any red flags that you ignored and you missed. When you notice certain things in the beginning of a relationship, those things will continue into the relationship. You want to look at what you missed and you want to take personal responsibility. And in my experience of coaching lots of men and lots of women, the tendency is that 90 to 95% of women are unhealthy and imbalanced and in their masculine energy and can have narcissistic tendencies. And so again, it's very important when I'm saying when to leave a man, that you look at your own personal work and you look at yourself before you play manipulative games to get a man back. So you have to look at yourself and you have to ask yourself, if I was a good woman with this man. And what's a really important question to ask yourself, if you are a man or a woman, is, would I date me? That question, if you look at it openly and honestly, you will get a very clear answer of what needs to be done in terms of your own inner work. If you are a good woman in the dynamic, means you've done your inner work. You do not get mad for no reason. You're not triggered. You're a happy woman. You have your own things going on in your life. You're secure, you're confident, you're happy, and you do not project your issues onto another person. You are supportive. You are able to meet the other person's needs. And so how do you know this? What are most of your issues about? What are most of your fights about? Is it that your partner is upset with you because you are not showing up in a correct way? And this is also very important to look at, because when a man has been with unhealthy women, he's going to look at the woman he's with and magnify things that she is doing or is not doing in a very unproportionate, unhealthy way. So if you are loyal in the relationship as a woman, you are supportive, you are putting your partner's needs ahead of your own, meaning maybe there are things that you're not happy with in the relationship, but regardless of that, you are still there for your partner, and you are just being the best version of yourself with him. If he is not recognizing that and he is not doing his part, meaning as a man, it's a man's role to defend, to protect, to make his woman feel safe, to be emotionally secure, to not be scared, right? That's a man's role. A woman that is in her feminine is emotionally regulated. She's very happy around him. She feels good to be around. She's desirable to him and other men. She's very loyal. She's very secure. She's supportive. And everyone wants to be around her. Children, animals, like she's just good to be around, right? That is a healthy feminine woman. A healthy feminine woman does not want to take the lead in a relationship. A healthy feminine woman has her own back, meaning if something happens in a relationship, she can defend herself and she can stick up for herself. But when she's in partnership with a man, she expects and requires that he take care of certain things in the relationship. She expects and requires to be with a man that has enough emotional maturity to create boundaries with other women, with children, with anything on the outside trying to come in to influence their relationship. Feminine women want to be with a man that they don't have to voice that a man just knows what to do, right? Just as a man wants to be with a woman that is loyal, that has boundaries, that doesn't flirt with everything that gives her attention, a feminine woman also wants to be with a man that knows how to make her feel safe and comfortable, that doesn't turn things around, that doesn't gaslight, that is emotionally mature, and that doesn't make her feel unstable. So you know when to leave a relationship with a man if without the man you are happy, you are content, you are thriving, you are happy, and you are desirable to other men. I always say to look at the environment to tell you your own personal work. As a woman, you should never have to fight for a man's attention. You should never have to lead. You should never have to force anything in your life if you are truly a feminine woman. If you are truly a feminine woman, you will have inspired action that is downloaded to you and you will take action accordingly, but you will never have to force anything, ever. Things will be hard in life, yes, because we have to personally develop, but life will always be spiraling up if you are actually in your feminine, because you are acting in authority with your energy and with your authenticity. So when something happens, you are able to walk away if need be, you're able to place boundaries, and you're able to learn from situations versus blaming the other person. As a woman, if you are doing your personal work, you're happy, you're thriving, and you're in a relationship that is causing you unrest, you don't feel peace, you are consistently having to teach a man how to be, and he is making you emotionally unstable. If you are emotionally stable as a woman and you are with a partner that is immature, that reacts disproportionate to situations, that is not able to protect you, not able to defend you, not able to make you happy in those ways, because as I always said, as a woman, we need a man to defend us and to keep us safe, right? Nothing else matters, right? A man coming to see you, a man buying dinners, none of that means anything to a feminine woman. She's able to do that herself. Those are nice things. Yes, women want that. But if a man is not able to defend a woman, if a man is not able to protect a woman, if a man is not there to emotionally keep a woman safe and doesn't know how to do that, that man is not a man that a woman wants to be with. And when it's time to leave a relationship, when in the relationship you have done everything you can to be better despite the situation, so you have taken personal responsibility for any part of what you could have done differently in the relationship, and it doesn't matter how attuned you are as a woman, you always want to look at, what did I learn from this relationship and what could I have done better? And this is not about the other person, this is about yourself. I will always look at myself and think to myself, because every relationship I am in, I look at how can I gain more emotional mastery over myself. Like, this is what I always ask myself, because I am very big on personal growth. And so I will always look at a situation and think, and before I leave a relationship, I'll always think to myself, what could I have done better? And if I feel that I could have done something better, I won't leave the relationship. I will work on myself despite my partner's inability to do his part. I will always look at myself and think to myself, whether or not this person is showing up and doing their part, what can I do better? What room is there for me to master myself more? Because again, I look at relationships as a playground for personal development. And when I've mastered that and I've done that and I've taken it to another level of personal development in my growth, and I see that certain behaviors are still happening despite what I am doing, and I've learned everything I can in the relationship, and at that point I've assessed this person is not going to change and this person is going to continue to bring me down, when there's nothing more for me to do. I'm meeting all their needs, but I'm not getting my needs met. I'm shrinking in the relationship because I'm consistently having to pay for this person's past, which is not fair. And I've done everything I can in this situation I've done everything I can in this situation to make things work, let's say, at that point I will know that, okay, it's time to leave the relationship. But again, for most of you, that might not be the case. You might be getting upset all the time with him. You might be nagging all the time. You may be looking for a relationship to save you. You might be looking for a man to save you. You might be not in your feminine. You might be in your masculine. You have to look at these things, because if you don't look at these things and if you don't do your inner work and you just leave the relationship to manipulate him, you're going to wind up in a painful situation again, and your relationships are not going to get better. Your relationships are going to get worse and worse, and you're going to be in a consistent cycle of being unhappy. So it's very important to look at the situation and look at oneself before you decide to leave. And if you are in a situation that's unhealthy, before you leave the situation, look at yourself. You can always read the books. You can email me your specific question. You can book a call with me and I can get into things with you more, but you should definitely not leave a situation until you've looked at your own part in the dynamic. Once you've done that and once you've shifted yourself, then you want to look at your partner and you want to see, is my partner doing their role? Are they shifting, right? Because if you're shifting, then they should be shifting. And if they're not, and the dynamic is the same, then you want to really assess, is this something that I want to stay in? And I will see you on the next one.